Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Big Lee's Worlds podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from the Big Lee's Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And today I have with me via Skype a very up and coming indie wrestler in the world today. He's popular everywhere he goes, and he's got plenty of eyes on him. And I would like to welcome today Mr. Anakin Murphy. Anakin, how you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm old, so it's past 7 o'clock. So it's getting about my bedtime.
I, I got you.
It makes those show days even worse because by the time the show starts, I'm like, man, this needs to be over with so I can go to bed.
I kind of feel that way too.
So yeah, so anybody that's listened to the Four Sides podcast, they kind of got your history and stuff like that of how you got started in the business. Shout out to Caleb and Noah and them. If you get a chance, you want to hear that back history, go ahead and make sure you check out the Four Sides podcast here. So what I want to talk about is I first heard, when I just first met you, I first heard about you at a Fight Underground. How did you get involved with that?
So, the booker of Fight Underground messaged me one day whenever I was like out with my girlfriend and just been like, "Hey, Cash Borden vouched out for you, and we want to have you for Fight Underground for the debut show." I think I was like the third or fourth talent announced. So that's like it was literally like a message, and I was just like, "Hell yeah, I'm available every Thursday." So
Awesome. So, what do you think it really got? So you said Cash vouched for you. What do you think got you on Cash's radar?
I had a match with Cash, and I want to say March or February at IWAU and Noble, and I guess it went over really well with him. It was a fun match that I had, so I guess he just went the extra mile and vouched out for me, which is super like chill of him.
Oh yeah, Cash is a great dude. And for those of you who are listening that want to find out more about Cash, make sure you hit up your podcast archives here or at bigleesworld.com and make sure to go check out that Cash Borden episode. So with that being said, so you make it that October, what was it, October 2020 to that first show. What did you end up doing on that first show?
So originally I was supposed to face Zach Sawyer's, but then apparently I think like a whole slew of people canceled. So I ended up wrestling Satu Jin right before he like actually blew up in the deathmatch world. So
Uh-huh.
it's pretty fun.
Yeah. That was an endeavor of a night, let me tell you. But hey, look at it like this. You didn't end up having to work New Jack.
No, I don't think anyone had to end up working New Jack.
Yeah. That's still an ordeal that you'd be surprised like how many shows whenever I go to a show and anybody that doesn't know or they find out that my association with the Anafight Underground, the first thing they want to ask is, how was New Jack? What was New Jack like?
Oh, he death stared me in the locker room.
So probably one of my favorite memories of that day was we hosted that pre-show meet and greet, and I went outside the venue, and I went to go get a separate line formed for everybody that was there for the New Jack meet and greet, and so I'm out there going, and then at that time, for those of you that don't know, we run a show over at Quick Skating Rink in Anna, Illinois, and right next door to it, there's an open lot and then a bar. So as we're lining these people up for the meet and greet, here comes New Jack just walking out of the bar, coming back to the venue. And you just see these people's like look on their face. They're like, "Oh my God, it's New Jack. Do I say anything to him?" And I remember one guy, he looked terrified. And he went to go stick his fist out to fist bump New Jack. And when he stuck his fist out, he looked like he hated life and regretted everything. And there comes New Jack. New Jack just looks at him dead in the eye, fist bumps him, doesn't say a word, and just walks on into the venue.
Man, I was in the locker room, and New Jack had on a surgical boot, and before anything, people were telling me like, "Hey, do not talk to New Jack, do not pester New Jack." So I was just sit like we were literally right across from each other, and I just looked down his boot, and I was like, "All right, like, F it. I don't know if you can cuss on this, but
Oh yeah, I
okay,
literally.
cool.
I was about to say, I literally told you before we started recording about the wild endeavors on here. So yes, we have a parental
Okay.
advisory, and a lot of episodes earn that.
All right, sick. So I was just like, all right, fuck it. Hey, New Jack, what happened to your foot? And he looked at me for like 30 seconds. And then he was just like, I got a fuse put in. And I said, oh. And I looked the other way. And Rob Leach and Jacques Kennedy were around me. And they told me that New Jack just death stared me for like 2 minutes. And I knew that he did because I fucking felt it. And like, I was scared, legitimately scared. And like, whenever I tell that story now, I think the last person I told it to, they were like, well, why the fuck did you even talk to New Jack?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It's almost like a double-edged sword. It's like you could take a chance and talk to New Jack and see what happens, or you could just sit there and be that person that's like stuck up and like not a team player. That's like, oh, I'm not talking to New Jack.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I took the chance. I mean, I have a story now. New Jack death stared me for like 2 minutes. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, some people are even afraid to be in the same room with him.
Oh, I was.
So after this, we had a December show, and your great governor, who's about worthless as all get up and go. But I don't want to put you on the spot talking about your Illinois politics. I mean, Missouri's not much better, but anyways. So he ended up causing us to have to cancel the December show, and we started doing almost like fanless tapings. So what did you end up doing on those tapings for the undisclosed? Besides spilling my Dr. Pepper.
So for the two that aired, I faced Dalton Diamond in the main event, and that was a fun one. And then I faced Mikey in a match.
So yeah, it was great gift wise the match with you and Dalton, and then I think that's one of the things. Like when it comes to Mikey, I don't think enough people take advantage of how much knowledge he has in this business,
No,
and any kind of like critiquing or any kind of feedback or just any kind of knowledge he could pass on.
like Mikey should be a lot more like he should be in a lot more places than he is. Like that dude like knows wrestling, and that dude lives and breathes it, and like he works very hard in every single aspect. And not a lot of wrestlers work hard in every single aspect, but he does.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Anybody that's ever asked me about Mikey, I've gave the cosign to within a heartbeat. Like, and that was the thing. Like, I'll tell anybody that's listened. At my previous company I worked for, over in Cape, anytime we could announce Mikey as a last minute addition, and there'd easily be 10 to 15 tickets extra sold just based off of that announcement.
Yeah.
Like, he's over wherever he goes. He's great to have in a locker room. He's always willing to help the green kids, and I just think that sometimes they don't want to take that. They take that help, and I think it's just a waste.
The match I had with him helped me a lot, and any conversation I've had with him, even whenever it's not even about wrestling, has been super helpful.
Mm-hmm. So from there, we go to the last show, which was you and, if I remember right, it was you and Gary J, correct?
Yep.
So I think this match, I don't know how you feel about it personally, but I think that this match really opened a lot of people's eyes towards you.
It definitely did. It was the best match that I've had so far. Gary J is one of those guys that I always watched, even whenever I was like a fan of indie wrestling, and even like as a wrestler, like that was the guy I always wanted to wrestle. And luckily, I got to know him and kind of befriend him a little bit before the match. And whenever we had the match, it was just like, it was amazing. And the reaction I got from the crowd, and even the reaction I got from like social media whenever the match came out, was just super overwhelming, and like in a good way. And yeah, like that match has like changed my perception on how to do things. I think a lot of people that wrestle Gary, like their mind of wrestling changes in a really positive way.
I definitely think that Gary's, someone like Mikey who should be in much more places than what he is. And, anytime you get to be in a locker room or ring with him, you need to take advantage of that as much as you can.
Absolutely. And Gary, like, that's all he wants to do is help people. And a lot of, like, people really need, like, to even, like, have conversation. I feel like even with Mikey and Gary, it's intimidating to go up to them and, like, ask for advice or, like, try to pick their brain or something. But, like, those conversations go a long way. Like, I was in Tampa and I saw Curt Stallion, and I literally talked to Curt Stallion about headbutts for 30 minutes, and I learned more in that 30 minutes than I did all that fucking weekend, you know?
It's like a simple phone call could have saved you a whole lot of gas money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. It's like when you have like two vets like a Gary J or like a Mikey in the locker room, it can be intimidating. But honestly, like, they're probably two of the nicest people in the locker room.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I hope to start seeing them, I know as the world starts to open back up and more shows start to happen, I hope to start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, me too.
Unless it's a show that Anafight Underground's running, I don't want them on another show. I want them back on our show. So with that being said, our next show coming up is April 29th. So if you're listening to this right as it drops, it's this Thursday. And if you're listening to this after the 29th, then make sure you check out the replay on on IWTV, not Fight TV, IWTV. And check it out. Oh, so where are you at on this card?
I am wrestling Stonewall in a singles match.
Okay. So for a lot of people are listening to this that are like, why doesn't this guy know what's going on where? So one of my main things that I do with Anafight Underground, besides on the back end, is the day of the show, like, I sell tickets at the ticket office and meet and greets. So I don't get to see a lot of the show. So I'm like, well, okay, I know someone's somewhere on the show doing something.
Yeah.
So something happened at this last show, right? That set up you and Stonewall, or
it was
something.
It was the last undisclosed taping that, like, hasn't really been released yet.
But
they kind of said what happened anyway. So I had a match for Jacques Kennedy. Jacques Kennedy made his debut. He and the Stonewall and Skimmerhorns are now a stable in Fight Underground, and they're targeting me. And I'm wrestling Stonewall in hopes to get to Jacques Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah, I had to miss that last underground show or undisclosed show because of the shooter. So I'm excited to see all that. So that should be dropping hopefully soon on YouTube, on the Anafight Underground YouTube. So just go to YouTube, type in Anafight Underground, and that should hopefully be up soon. Hopefully. So what's the backstory between you and Jacques Kennedy?
Jacques Kennedy and I trained together. Like, our first day of training was together, rode in the same car there. We have really spent the majority of our teenagehood and our training and even our wrestling career together. Yeah, like we have a lot of history, a lot of memories, and a lot more things to come in the future. We even, like, backyarded together.
Oh, nice. So when's the promo coming that were you calling Jockstrap Kennedy?
Probably never.
Oh, come on now.
That's the cheap stuff.
Hey, sometimes in this business, that's what's going to get you over.
Hey, well, I'm not over.
I don't know. I seen that Twitter reaction you got. Maybe it's because Anafight Underground has a great Twitter person to help really push all that. So,
Exactly.
So besides Anafight Underground, another place that you're really getting over well at is 01. So right now you are you're in a tag team with Walker Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
I like it. I like teaming with Walker. He's a really good dude. I like the opportunities we've been getting. Like last 0-1 show we main evented, which was mind-boggling to me because
Main event Murphy.
Main event Murphy. 0-1 is really the first place that I had that really took a chance on me, and I'm like really grateful for them. Like 0-1 and Fight Underground are like the two promotions I consider home, and the two promotions that I'm always going to prioritize.
Okay.
So
how did it come about with you and Walker teaming?
We were paired together in a Four Corners tag team match for the 0-1 USA tag team titles. And ever since we were paired together in that tag team, we had a lot of chemistry, and we've been kind of hitting the pavement with Self-Destruct ever since.
Okay. So are y'all looking to take this tag team on the road, or is this just going to kind of stay at 0-1?
We could take it on the road. We've talked about it, but also talked about only making it a 0-1 thing, as we also have singles careers. That's just something that like time will tell kind of thing.
Okay. That makes sense. So like I said, with this being recorded today, this Saturday in Noble, Illinois for 0-1, what is Self-Destruct doing on this show?
In a Four Corners tag team match for the 0-1 USA tag team titles. It's Self-Destruct versus Campbell Myers and SK Bishop of the Premier, who are two dudes that we have a lot of history with, have had a lot of matches with, versus Controversial Inc., which is a new team that faced off against the Lowlives, and then the best tag team in independent wrestling, the Besties in the world.
Whoa, that's a bold statement there.
They're the best tag team in indie wrestling.
No, sir. I heard that Self-Destruct was the best tag team in indie wrestling right now.
Well, that's who's going to beat them for the belts. So,
hey, there you go. Hey, you got to always believe in yourself, because if no one else will, at least you do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, is there any other companies or anything on your radar that you're trying to get to?
That I'm trying to that I haven't wrestled at?
Yeah.
Definitely like a long-term goal. Whenever St. Louis Anarchy comes back, that's a place I'm really going to prioritize and really try to wrestle on. I want to think here. Most likely places like, really, I just really want to wrestle everywhere. St. Louis Anarchy is the first place that came to mind, but I do want to wrestle everywhere.
Okay. So you're willing to, you're ready and willing to get out of Illinois?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides Tampa.
Yeah, like for sure. Like I want to go to like California or Wyoming or really everywhere. Like I just want to.
Is there wrestling in Wyoming?
GCW just announced a show in Wyoming. I probably won't get on it, but it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, man, it's kind of crazy with them right now. Like, I don't know how much you actually follow of all this, but like this whole like pseudo beef with them and ICW.
I have not followed that.
Yeah, so basically, I think the line gets kind of drawn in the sand where it's like there's a lot of fans that really got behind GCW when it was very deathmatch eccentric there. And as their popularity has grown and grown, it's like the death matches have gotten less and less, and it's more of like a high flying style and very almost like a PWG style. It feels like with some of the talent that comes in there, and then you've got ICW, which started the whole no holds barred deal. And, they're staying very hardcore deathmatch eccentric. So it seems like as those fans are migrating more and more over there, that they're kind of, it's almost like you're lulled to GCW, and then now it just seems like you're moving further and further away from them. So you feel like your style is a good fit for the GCW?
Yeah. I feel like people should just like wrestling. I don't think people need to take sides. GCW is absolutely the new PWG. Like, PWG was the place to be for the indies. If you were on PWG, you were a top indie name. Now it's like, if you're on GCW, you are a top indie name. ICW is cool. I like it. But I think both are going to have fan bases. Both are going to have people that like it. But for me, I enjoy both a lot. I would love to wrestle on both someday in the future.
I was going to say, they just announced and put tickets on sale for ICW No Holds Barred coming to Indy in July. So have you hit up Danny and seen about getting on the show?
I have not hit up Danny. I'm not that. I don't think I'm that big of a name yet. I'm still like, I'm not even 2 years in yet. So I still got to get some reps under me. Still got to do some things. And then maybe whenever I hit a certain point, then I'll try to really push for big things like that.
Because, I mean, you know, at the Anna Fight Underground, we have, like, a lot of their top stars there. So I'm sure, like, you know, look at Satu Jin. Like, he hopped in the car with the Rejects. And then next thing you know, like, he's blowing up at ICW.
I'm also just trying to, like, I like deathmatch wrestling, but like, a lot of it is a lot. I don't want to become just like a deathmatch wrestler.
I got you.
Even though I love deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's one of those things I feel like with some people, though, like, you know, one I tell a lot to, and I remind him of this one at the last show, was Akira. Like, when I first saw Akira, it was when he was in Middle Illinois at this company that we don't really talk about anymore on here because the Booker man don't like me. But, you know, he was kind of just trying that, like, high flying style, and it just wasn't getting where he wanted to be. And then he started to dabble into death matches, and the next thing you know, he started to really get behind him, and it started to really boost his career.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, you know, we had a question submitted to us from faithful listener Stephen James, who wanted to know if you have any interest in getting into a death match.
I absolutely would. The only place that I would really do death matches at is Anna Fight Underground. I don't think I would do death matches anywhere else.
We appreciate that loyalty there. So is there any one particular person you and I like doing a death match with?
Definitely John Wayne Murdoch.
Okay.
John Wayne Murdoch. Akira would be cool. What other deathmatch guys? G Raver, of course. G Raver's my favorite deathmatch wrestler. I think those are like the top three that come to mind that I want to really wrestle if a deathmatch would come about. Mickey Knuckles would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. So you don't want to do anything stupid like Dalton Diamond and call out Nick Gage?
Yeah, I can't do that because Nick Gage will beat my ass and kill me.
Well, if you go back to the IWTV and check out our first event on there, you can see Nick Gage almost killed Dalton Diamond. So, yeah, I definitely don't recommend that you do that. And then hopefully, if we're lucky at this show, April 29th at Quick Skating Rink for Anna Fight Underground Prince by Design, we may get to see Ricky Shane Page kill Dalton Diamond.
Another guy I really want to see, and Fight Underground and possibly have a match with in the future is also Atticus Cogar, who is the most underrated deathmatch wrestler out there.
Atticus Cogar is on my top list to have come into Anna. Honestly, awesome. Like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
I met him in Tampa. He's cool.
Nice. I met him in when they did the collective back in the fall at Indy. Like he was their first show they did was it Jimmy Lloyd's Degeneration F or Degeneration AF or something like that. And the main event was Atticus versus Colby Carino in a death match. And I was like, okay, I finally get to see Atticus work live. And then, so like in true Mark fashion, like as soon as his match was over, I go outside the building to get in line to get to the merch table to meet him. And he was super nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get the night. See that like that's the thing. Like people don't understand like when it comes to like with the diehard deathmatch fans and like what they really want is it's a crown. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't think a crown jewel, but like when you can get that after bloody deathmatch photo.
Yeah.
So definitely. I'm gonna be there with my salesman's hat on after your first deathmatch, so we start selling your bloody photo ops.
Yeah, we can do that.
So where you at? Do you do merch?
I have like a couple of 6x8 pictures. That's about it right now.
4x6?
I do have 4x6s too.
I was gonna say I didn't know 6x8 was an actual picture size.
I mean, I might be wrong, but I
Once
don't
this
know
is done,
dimensions. I just have pictures.
once I get done doing this, you're gonna have me like on Google, like looking up like standard photo sizes. So no shirts or anything like that.
No, I did have shirts for a while, but then I didn't recently, but I eventually sold out of them. I need to print off some more. Um, it is a lot of money to get it, so that's why I just have pictures at the moment. But I plan to like do hats and shirts and just other cool stuff eventually.
So you don't do the pro wrestling tees deal?
No, I tried to get one, but I got denied.
Really?
So yeah.
Talk to me at the next show about this, and I'll help you out.
All right.
Because I've had some pretty well success at getting those set up and stuff like that. So I don't know why you'd get denied, but
I don't know. Like I said in the request, and I either I got denied or it just never came back.
I got you. Yeah, remind me at the next show, and I'll help you get that set up.
All right, I appreciate
Even if
that.
we have to send a nasty email to Ryan to be like, "What's going on here?" So at that same time, shameless plug, if you would like a Big Lee's World t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees, you can go pick one up at bigleesworld.com and represent the brand.
Represent the brand.
That's right. Hey, that's why I got it put on the back of the vest I wear now.
Oh, sick.
So I mean, try to give that little edgy scene to it and still be able to represent the brand. Which is like honestly like it kills me to and I think this is my mind, which we'll get into a little bit here about hardcore, but people will go out of their way to wear like fancy name brand clothes and represent band, like wear band merch for bands that like do not care about them, and that just doesn't make sense to me. It's like I would much rather support somebody like I know or somebody that's trying to help better themselves and represent their merch than I would to go out and, buy a Metallica t-shirt or go out and get a WWE shirt. And it just amazes me that more people don't do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would rock an Anakin Murphy shirt if I had one.
Hey, man, in due time.
When we get that Pro Wrestling Tees store set up.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to talk to you about and kind of get your mindset on this, because you don't see it overly often too much in this business anymore, and especially in like more of the I would say edgier scene that we're in. So you're straight edge.
Yeah.
So what brought this about?
So just all my life, I never had the desire to do any drugs or to smoke weed or smoke cigarettes. I do have a pretty bad trauma issue with alcohol. Anytime I'm around alcohol, I will try to remove myself from the situation just because anytime I've been around it, it's just bad things happen.
Right.
I didn't know it was even a thing until like It was called Straight Edge, and obviously I learned it from CM Punk because I've been watching wrestling since I was like 6. But like, there's a whole like music thing to it that I'm really drawn to. Like, I love Minor Threat and Allegiance and Project X, and they're all like really good bands that I like listen to. So like, it's not even like, oh, I'm straight edge because I like CM Punk. It's just like I'm a part of like the music side of straight edge, and I
Mhm.
have like a reason to be straight edge.
You're probably one of the only nice people I've met that's straight edge.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that are nice, but like, I mean, mostly because they're entitled. Mostly because
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, hey, I'm completely sober. You're not. Fuck you. Like, it. You can drink, or like most of my friends smoke weed. Like, my girlfriend smokes weed and like
In a legal
vapes
state.
and stuff. Yes, in a legal state, but does all that. And like, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I won't. Don't push it onto me.
I think one of my biggest things is like, well, besides just like the entitlement, it's like, and I don't want to name any names because I'm sure that somebody listening to this will try to pinpoint what I'm talking about here. But it's like you have straight edge people that are like, well, oh my God, like you're a terrible person if you drink or you do this or you do that. How could you dare put that poison in your body and at the same time drink like 12 energy drinks a day?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I think that's like, when, besides the whole entitlement thing, it's like, you know,
There's a
the,
hypocrisy with it.
yeah. Although I will say, like, hearing some of the CM Punk stories, like when he would get injured and like he wouldn't even take like what was it, like he wouldn't even take like an Advil or something.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, oh wow,
Yeah, I'm also like that. I don't take like ibuprofen or Advil or
really?
Advil for anything, and it kind of
So,
sucks.
so what do you do when you get hurt?
I just kind of deal with it.
That sucks.
And pills are just extremely like addictive, and I've seen it destroy lives. And like,
Hmm.
I don't want that for me. I don't want that to like harm anything that I love or anyone that I love. So that's just another reason why I'm straight edge, because I want to be considerate of the people around me, because people that were in my life that did those things were considerate of me. So I just want to do that for others.
I go what you're saying there. One of the stories that sticks out to me is I went to a show. It was Stray from the Path, Counterparts, Expire, and My Ticket Home in St. Louis at the Foo Bar. And when Expire was playing, somebody was stage diving, and I went to catch them. And when I went to catch them, I didn't know there was some hardcore dancing going behind me. So as I catch this guy, like somebody is swinging their arms and elbows me in the lower spine, and it
Oh
like
Lord.
compresses my spine down. So I have to start going and like I'm talking about like not like a court. Luckily, the adrenaline kept me going until I got home that night after the show, and then of course the next day like I couldn't walk,
Yeah.
and so like I had to go to the doctor, get some meds, go to the chiropractor, start getting that broken loose or like not broken loose but like unstuck basically,
Yeah.
and they gave me some pain pills to do that, and so I did that, and I was still on the pain pills, and I had to go. I eventually had to go back to work. So after like a couple of weeks off, like I just basically had to take these pain pills and go in and do the job. And I remember one of these guys I worked with, like he would get mad because he found out I had these pills, and he was offering me like some crazy amount, like they were pretty strong grade pain pills, and he was trying to offer me like $20 a pill, and he's like, "Come on," I'm like, "Dude, you don't understand. Like, I probably shouldn't even be at work right now, and like I have this to help me make it through the day till I can go home and lay down."
Jesus.
And yeah, so it's just crazy to see how pills affect people,
Yeah.
you know. Plus, I'm also cheap, so
Well, I'm glad you told me that story, because now I'll make sure you catch my dive Thursday.
but let's be honest. By the time I'll be lucky, by the time I get out of the desk and get everything done, that the main event hasn't started by then. So I mean, unless there's like 50 matches,
I think there's about 10,
I was gonna
probably.
say I couldn't remember how many there were. I know that it's not like some shows where the show starts at 7 and it gets out at 1 a.m. Have you been on one of them shows yet?
Yeah,
Oh, you have?
I was on a 15 match card like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you stay for the whole deal?
Yeah, because I was second to last. So whenever like you're second to last, it's just like, what the fuck's the point of going home now? Like it's
Yeah,
almost over.
I feel you on that. So I mean, so yeah. So otherwise, like you talked about straight edge music. You know, I had this talk, and I think we mutually agreed like the one band that we both have in common is Knocked Loose.
Yeah, I love Knock Loose.
So how did you find out about Knocked Loose?
Spotify has like a Discover Weekly thing, and that's how I found them. And I'm just like, they're cool. I want to listen to all their music, and I love all their albums.
Dude, like I'm still sad that right before the world closed down, I was supposed to go see him again in St. Louis, and I keep waiting for that rescheduled date.
I imagine they're a trip to go see live.
Dude, well, I think I told you this once before. When I saw them, the first time I ever seen them was in Nashville at the Inn, and it was the Acacia Strain, Oceano, Knock Loose, and Culture Killer. And some guy stage dived during their set. And if you've ever been to the Inn in Nashville, this stage is maybe like 8 inches off the ground, and there's no barricade, and it's a sold out show. And whenever the show's like sold out, it's already over capacity, and like you're just all shoved in there. And then when this guy stage dived, like he tried, like you can't even really stage dive. You basically try to turn a flip, and you're halfway in the middle of the venue when you turn a flip. If that gives you an idea how small this is. And this guy, like, he did it, and he had steel toe boots on, and it kicked me in the chest and like knocked my wind out. And I had a giant bruise on my chest, so I ended up having to spend like the last half of their set sitting outside trying to catch my breath.
Man.
So, but from there, I got to see them again at Warped Tour, and what was the other tour I saw them at? Oh, it was Every Time I Die, Knock Loose, and Harm's Way.
That's a set.
Yeah, dude, I love hardcore shows. Like, I can't wait for them to come back.
Yeah. What's your favorite album or EP from Knock Loose?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I have the right answer.
What, Pop Culture?
Of course, it's Pop Culture.
Oh man.
If I had to rank them, I'd probably go Pop Culture, Laugh Tracks, A Different Shade of Blue, all the others.
I was gonna say, I was trying to think if there was any others.
They did like this collab album with this other band, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, yeah. I will say that Pop Culture has the better version of All My Friends than what A Different Shade of Blue did.
Yeah. Pop Culture also has like Small Victories and All My Friends, which are like great songs.
Yeah.
You already said All My Friends, but Small Victories and there's another one. Separate.
I do. One of my prized possessions is I do have laugh tracks signed by the entire band.
That's sick.
And then I have a giant Knocked Loose flag that what's his name? This vocalist signed it. And like I have it folded up, but it's pretty cool. It's like Brian. I don't know why I just like forgot his name. But yeah, like he signed it after Warped in Nashville. And it was like the craziest thing because with Warped Tour, you know, like each band schedules daily.
Yeah.
And Nashville, like when they did Warped Tour there, it wasn't like a real like venue. Like they did it at a fairground. So like all these stages have to be brought in. So by the time Knock Loose closed out the Nashville Warped Tour that day, and like it's pitch black out there. Like you just have the stage lights and people trying to hold their cell phone light up so they can see the band.
Oh,
And
that's tough.
dude, yeah. But man, that was such a great lineup then. You know who Sick of It All is?
No, I don't.
So Sick of It All is like one of the founding bands of hardcore. And like they played, Anti-Flag played. I got to see Guar.
Guar.
Dude, Guar was awesome because there was this band. I can't remember what song they were popular for at the time, but they were called like American Authors or something like that.
Okay.
And I think they had like a song that was like really famous in a car commercial. But Guar went on stage and killed them during their set. But yeah, man, it was such a wild lineup because like they had them. You remember Bowling for Soup?
I do like Bowling for Soup.
They were there. I Prevail was getting really big at that time, and they were there. And probably one of my favorite discoveries of that day, which you have to look these guys up if you've never listened to them. They're called L-Storm, not to get confused with Hellstorm. We do love us some Lizzie Hell, but L-Storm, they are pirate metal.
Oh, pirate metal.
Yes. Like, you have to listen to these guys. Like, it is amazing.
That's interesting. All right.
So yeah, I mean, so what does Annika Murphy like to do outside of the wrestling business?
Really like relax and just be at home. I do like outside, like I like walks and like hikes and shit. Really like me not wrestling. It's very boring. I don't do anything. Aside from work, like my actual job. Wrestling's like the only thing I've really connected to, and the only thing that I like think that I'm relatively okay at. And yeah,
There you go. Some people are homebodies. Like, you know, if you're somebody like you, if you're traveling, you know, all over the, you know, I could get like how you'd want to, you know, your time being down. Like personally, like my shooter has been had us working from home since March of 2020. So at this point, like any chance I get out of the house, like I take it.
yeah. I love to be home.
I'm like, for me, like before the world shut down, it's kind of crazy because I never had that like real like sit down like period because it was like okay, I go to work. If it's any day off, I try to find a concert or wrestling to go to, or at the time I was part of CCW, and so it was always okay. If it's not work, if it's not a concert, if it's not wrestling, then it's a meeting or it's a CCW show or it's something to meet with somebody to try to get a sponsorship or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's just constantly on the go. So when the world shut down, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. So now I'm home. I get to chill out, relax, stuff like that. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh wow, like I have stuff here, but I miss being on the road.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man. So, the big thing though coming up April 29th, Anna Fight Underground presents By Design. Quick skating. You can probably get your tickets now still at fightunderground.net or we'll have them at the door. Are you looking forward to the big event that happens that day?
I am. I'm very much looking forward to it. I think every match is going to kill it, and it's going to be different for all the fans to enjoy, and it's just going to be a fun night like Fight Underground always is.
Well, that's cool and all, but I'm talking about the big event that day.
Oh, what exactly do you mean? I don't know what you mean. I don't want to feel stupid.
Oh, you and I going to go get the ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're going to Dollar Tree that day.
That's right. So one of us has to take between now and that day and find out exactly where the Dollar Tree is.
I'll find out like as soon as we get off this. I will text it to you and like send you the address, and I'm like, all right, meet me here at exactly 3:15 p.m. that day.
Well, I think I'll probably be at the venue then.
I mean, I'll be at the venue too. We'll probably have to get it before noon.
Yeah, we may have to sneak away.
And that's okay.
Yeah, because we, for those of you that don't know, up and coming wrestlers that are listening to this before the 29th, we are having not just a Christian Rose seminar that day, but we are also having an Anna Fight Underground talent evaluation. So if you've ever wanted to join the Anna Fight Underground or get out there and want to really grow your worth and grow your value, and you want to join one of the top upcoming promotions in America that has a strong social base and a strong following, you'll want to come out to this seminar and see if you have what it takes to make it on the Anna Fight Underground roster.
And it's not going to be like a scam either. Like they'll legitimately, like people will legitimately look at you and consider you, no matter how under years you are, whatever, you're going to be considered. Not saying that the other tryout thing is a scam, because that's not. That's how I got with that promotion. But
yeah, because I'm going to be one of the talent judges there. And trust me, I don't have a filter.
If anyone cries, I'll probably help you out.
By pointing and laughing?
No, by patting them on the back, saying it's all right.
Oh no, we got to point and laugh at those people.
I'm not an asshole, so I will not point and laugh.
Oh, trust me. This is one of the on-running jokes I have with the promoter of Anna Fight Underground, is that nobody really on the roster, except maybe one or two people, have been a part of as many seminars as I have, just from hosting them over at CCW. So, I've got to see some crazy things like over the seminars. One of my favorites, though, is Homicide and Hernandez?
Yeah.
So they were running a seminar for us, and they were running his kid so hard that he ended up having to puke and pass out.
Oh, jeez.
And you know what we did?
Pointed and laughed, didn't you?
Yeah.
Man. Anytime I hear CCW, I think of Marco Stunt and Trent Daniels.
Hey, here's what I'll say. No matter what other people think of it, or, what was and what is and what becomes, I have a lot of great memories at CCW. A lot of great things that happened there. And, it may not be what one person likes, but it's also, there's people out there that do. And, no matter what, it's still anybody that can get booked there. I know the booker still, I talk to him quite often, and he, he's doing what he can, and that team's doing what they can to try and make sure that they still put on a solid show for their fan base there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't have got to meet Matt Hardy, which was still a trip. And remind me, I'll tell you a story about that when we get off of here.
Okay.
And I got to have a 2-hour car ride with Adam Page.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was one of the nicest people you could meet. And a very interesting car ride with PCO.
All right, I want you to tell me about that whenever we're off here.
Oh, I've got the PCO stories for you. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, it's one of those things that's like, and I've had this talk with a couple of people. It's like, with Anna Fight Underground, we're very eccentric into like the hardcore death match, like very adult oriented style of violence that we put on there. And CCW is going to be more of like an overall, like a pseudo family friendly, like more try to capture what's the word I'm looking for here? Like capture many different tastes as they can under one spectrum, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, and they've started back, they took 8 months off, and they're back. I just went to their show, what was it? Saturday. I guess according to this, it would have been Saturday, and they had a solid turnout. A lot of the guys put on a great show there, and it seems like they're really getting that traction back that they had. Kind of before pre-print, like that real, like they're trying to get back to that 2017, 2018 traction they had there.
Yeah.
So you never know. We may see somebody else there.
Maybe.
I do know the Booker man.
You do know the Booker man.
I do. I know a lot of Booker men.
I know a couple.
We all sit around in the Booker man group chat. But yeah, like I said, and that's the thing, like 2021, like there's a different kinds of wrestling for different people. And that's what's really good about it right now. One thing may not be your cup of tea, but I'm pretty sure you can find your flavor of tea out there.
Yeah, wrestling right now is like probably in one of the best spots it's been in, and not a lot of people realize that. Like, I think there's a lot of negativity with wrestling, with fans and wrestlers alike, where everyone just wants to shit on something. I love everything about wrestling, and I love like even the shit backyard feds that I watch on YouTube filled with fucking like 20-year-olds doing whatever. Like, I love it, and it's all really good. And I think wrestling right now is just in such a good spot where everyone can be accepted and everyone can be who they want to be, and they can fit in somewhere. It's not like there's any outcasts anymore.
Right. Now, I agree 110% with that. And if you feel like you're an outcast, go find you a company. Like,
yeah, man.
Maybe not necessarily down south. If you've listened to some of these previous episodes, my stories about down south.
I imagine it's bad.
Have I ever told you any of my stories about down south?
Probably not.
I told you the one where the guy thought like it was a great idea to try to either A, make a joke, or B, not realize that he was making a joke, or C, hopefully he was making a joke about trying to auction off a high school girls a raffle prize.
Fucking what state was that?
Arkansas.
Oh, I believe it.
So we were down for a show. I don't want to say the name of the show or anything because I got a couple people that listen to this that are booked down there, and I don't want to cause them no heat. But we'll just say a certain show in Northeast Arkansas had a guy there who decided that he was basically like their kind of commentator, I guess you would say. But down there, they do a lot of live commentating where like over the speakers. Okay. Versus just like what's set to like be heard on the video feed.
I hate that.
Oh, me too. Well, the guy there was like, he was trying to get people to buy the raffle tickets, and he decided to say that they had, I think, I forgot what high school group it was that was working their concessions as a fundraiser, and the guy pointed out to one of the girls there and said that tried to get her to be a raffle prize to go home with someone and cook them dinner and clean their house.
That's so
and do any
dumb.
kind of request that they have.
That's so dumb.
So like, at first, like you kind of like overlook it like the first time you hear it, but by like the 12th time you hear it, like you have faces, heels, fans, security guards, all staring at one another like, what is this guy doing? Like, why?
Please don't be like that, man. I canceled someone just for fucking having a really shitty gimmick towards women. Like, don't do that.
Dude, it was bad. Like, dude, like, I don't even know, like, because at first, like, I thought, like, it was just, like, the guy's just trying to, be kind of a little edgy or get over or something stupid like that. But, nah, like, he kept going with it and going with it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That's all right. That's Arkansas.
Yeah, it's also the same show that the promoter decided that I guess he didn't like the match that two guys were having, so he walked out to the side of the ring, slapped the ring apron, and told them, "Going home, boys."
All right.
He did it during 2 matches.
Oh man, that's brutal.
So yeah, you need to get you an Arkansas booking.
I'll talk to the Skimmerhorns.
Yeah, I don't think they want Arkansas bookings.
All right, well then I won't go to the Arkansas. If I ever go to Arkansas, it'll be to either visit the Skimmerhorns or go to a show with the Skimmerhorns or do something with the Skimmerhorns. If they're out of it, probably not going to go to Arkansas.
Hey, you never know. May get to meet with one of them Memphis wrestling legends.
Oh, I imagine.
Like I said, it's an experience that everybody needs to have at least once in their life, especially if you're in the wrestling business. You need to go experience Arkansas wrestling. It's right up there with West Tennessee wrestling.
I'll go study some tape later on tonight.
No, I mean, you need to go firsthand, especially you get a chance. You talk to Caleb from the Four Sides podcast, and he'll tell you some great West Tennessee wrestling stories.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to leave it with that. I want to say thank you, Anakin, for joining us here today on the Big Leagues Worlds podcast. Where can everybody find you at?
All right. So I'm on Twitter at Anakin Sad Murphy. I'm on Instagram at Anakin Sad Murphy. Facebook is Anakin Murphy. And yeah, please follow me on Twitter.
Of all of them, you're like my go-to. Follow me on Twitter.
Hey, man, that's how I'll get over.
So people can see you coming up this Thursday night in Anna, Illinois at the Quick Skating Rink for Anna Fight Underground by Design. $15 tickets at the door. Doors are at 6. Show starts at 7. Come out. Main event, Tag Team Warfare 2. My good brother Cash is teaming with one of my all-time favorites, Ricky Shane Page, to take on that scumbag Dalton Diamond and Ty Blade in the Tag Team Warfare 2 death match. And then this Saturday, they can find Anakin at Noble, Illinois for 0-1 with his tag partner and self-destruct Walker Hayes in the 4 tag match for the 0-1 tag titles. And also, if you've listened to this before, you know I got to drop the big plug, and that is for the Little Corner grocery store there in Noble. So you go out to that store, make sure you go there and get you some food before the show.
Fuck that store. Fuck.
Why?
Man, I've never had a good experience there or the shitty restaurant in Noble. I've been in Noble hundreds of times.
Dude, anytime I go to that grocery store, it's the same lady working there. She's always excited to see me.
I've never seen a lady there. I've only seen this young guy, high school kid, and he's really shitty.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we've went, it's just been the same lady there, and she's always super nice. And she's like, I remember you from the last time you were here.
Are you going to be there Saturday?
I plan to. There may be something that either makes me late or I may not make it, but I think that I should be good.
All right. Well, if you're there, we can go together. We'll have 2 adventures in 1 week.
There you go. I'll let you know what time. We usually take a carload with us, so we usually leave pretty early. So, you know.
You're usually there before I am.
Yeah, just make sure if I call you, actually answer your phone this time.
I will leave it off. Do not disturb me. It's my phone.
You know. Or don't send me a message that says, "How did you get my phone number?" And that's a shoot.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused on how you got my phone number, but then I remembered, oh yeah, I kind of gave it to you.
Yeah. He gave us his phone number and he's like, "Don't call me." Is that true?
No, that's not true. I don't think that's true.
It is.
I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, he was coming back from Tampa and he was like, "Oh, well, here's my number. Call me." And then you were like, the next message was like, "Please don't call me, y'all."
Oh, yeah.
So with that being said,
yeah, I remember now.
Once again, Annika, thanks for joining us. We're going to get you that Pro Wrestling Tees store set up soon so we can get you some merch and get that plug there going for you. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for listening today to the Big Leagues Worlds podcast. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever they want you to do to get this episode out to as many people as possible. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, bigleaguesworld@gmail.com. Send me an email. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Big Leagues World. Make sure to pick up your Big Leagues World t-shirt at bigleaguesworld.com. And make sure to come out to Anna Fight Underground this Thursday night at Quick Skating Rink. And make sure to also go out to 01 this Saturday in Noble, Illinois at, I guess it's the old school building. I don't really know what they call it.
Piper Brothers Event Center.
So it's an old school, because I guarantee if you type that into Google, you probably won't find it.
Probably not.
So, like I said, thank you once again for joining us. Thanks to everybody for listening. And as always, 2 scoops of whoop, whoop, whoop.